Calmsden, and yet again we are starting another day up at the BGA loading up silage bales because we have loads of these to get rid of. So yeah, just going to fill this up again and then we will leave it working for the day while we go off and work on our fields. Basically going to do some early field prep, a bit of mulching, a bit of digestate spreading, and then probably next video and next game day we'll be getting some winter barley in the ground. I think we're going to go for barley and a grass cover crop for the field that we're going to do for corn. So plan for the next video and plan for this video. It's kind of unusual, it's only Thursday, and this for me, and this is the first or the second of next week's videos, and it's kind of nice to actually be ahead for a change. So yeah, up at the store we don't have a mulcher, so we're just going to lease the base game one for now. Basically I couldn't find a mod that excited me as a mulcher. Mulchers don't excite me. I don't know if they excite you. I'm using the Lizard Katrina on Greenlands, the slightly cheaty fast one, so I thought I'd just use the base game one on here. We've got our harvested cornfield that we need to mulch, and the plan is I think I'm going to split this field in half, and we're going to do half barley and half corn next year, and then we'll do some potatoes or sugar beet in field 12. I'm just setting a fixed visual month because that flickering was driving me nuts, and then I'm not sure what we're going to plant in the field up by the shop. We did soybeans last year, might do more corn, not sure, might grass it over again. Yeah, might grass it over. I'm really not sure what to plant up there. One of the things I am considering, and I think I mentioned it in, I don't know what video I mentioned it in, I'm thinking of putting a mini BGA in on this field. It's obviously faster at processing the silage that we're getting. We have quite a lot of silage to get sold, and it saves me having to do really long trips up to the BGA to sell and for digestate. My original plan was to put it in the spot where we've put the bunker silo that's got the maize silage in, so we'd have to lose part of the corner of this field, but I think it might be a wise trade. I don't know. Eventually we might put more sheds on here as well. I think that's a fairly common upgrade from a lot of people, so yeah, that's what I'm pondering on here. Probably not going to commit to it for a while because I'm really bad at that kind of thing, but we do have the cash at the moment, so I'm going to get a worker going on that job because I want to get to the digestate spreading. I have worked out that the little John Deere can run the manure spreader, digestate spreader, so we're going to stick that on the digestate spreader. But before we do that, I want to plough in the weird boundary we've got on here. This is left over because I used easy dev tools to put it to the harvested corn state when we moved the map, and you know, there's that whole difference between what easy dev does and what the field boundaries are, so I'm just going to run around and plough in the difference, and then we'll get some digestate spreading going. We're going to have the case picking up the digestate trailer. We'll take a load of slurry up to the BGA while we're at it because we might as well take that up there and sell it, and then I'm going to have the case running on courseplay, bringing this trailer back to the field so that we can fill up the slurry spreader or digestate spreader, the spreader. So just checking everything works up here. I need to set a point for slurry selling because I haven't done that before, so we'll do that. We'll get the slurry tipped into the BGA and then we'll fill up with digestate and send the Puma back down to the farm. That's the plan. We have a lot of digestate up here and we're going to be getting more. Obviously we've still got 50 bales there plus to sell, 60 bales to sell, so yeah, get some fuel in the little John Deere, and I am really liking this little tractor. And it was brought as a feeder tractor, but it's done all sorts of cool little jobs on the farm. We even had it ploughing at one point with a little plough on the back. my long-term plan is the 5080E that was released on Mod Hub last week. I would love to upgrade to one of those on here, because I think it's just a newer version of this tractor. So then this tractor's been awesome. So that's what I'm thinking. We've got work going on the mulching. Actually, they've got quite a lot of that done while we were ploughing. So we'll run around, do a headland, and then just get a bunch of digestate spread. So I think this is the first normal video I've mentioned this in. We have Volvo coming to the game, and let's just grab a little screenshot. The vehicle that they've shown us so far is what looks to me like a forestry oil loader. If the third DLC in the season pass is a forestry pack, I am going to be unhappy. I might even go as far as to be grumpy, because we'll have had one for freaking vineyards, which I don't do. We'll have had the Kubota one, which I really like, and just setting this up to run backwards and forwards to the BGA. And then if we get a Volvo pack which is about forestry, I am going to be, yeah, that would be more disappointing licensed content, having paid for the season pass. I guess we'll see. And I think one of the really cool things is that people can then make Volvo mods which can be released on all platforms. If you're on my Discord, you'll know that one of the guys on there is building a Volvo mod. And also, you know, we could see Volvo lorries coming into the game on all platforms. I think those are, you know, I think that would be really, certainly from the UK side, I think that would be, or the European side, I think getting a bunch of branded Volvo lorries would be quite cool. See them quite a lot in the UK, certainly. So I think there's definitely benefit in Volvo coming to the game. Hey, we could even have Volvo cars. Have your old Volvo estate driving around. So off to the store now, because I want to pick up a bigger container to store digestate in on the farm. I'm going to lease it because we probably don't need it for too long. Just checking it's not in the sales. There is a Kubota and a 6R, both very tempting. But we're going to lease the smaller of the Garant slurry whatevers. Basically what I was finding is that just using our little slurry tender meant that I was waiting quite often for the case to get back to refill. This will allow us to speed things up, hopefully, because the case can empty into here, we can fill from here. So as soon as the case is emptied, it can go off and refill with digestate whilst we're working. That's the theory. We'll see how that goes, I guess. But for now, we'll think we'll have to do a little bit of tweaking as to where we place it, because I've been a bit dumb, and yeah, it's not going to get past that. So because it's empty, we can just use the little John Deere to move it. These are designed to be moved empty, I believe. I have actually seen one of these being used in real life. On the trip to Wales that I mentioned in some recent videos that I did a couple of years ago or last year, they were using one of these in the field to supply a slurry tanker. So there was a lorry, much like we're doing, there was a lorry that was doing the running to the farm and back to fill it up, and then there was a tractor running. I think it might have even been running on an umbilical. It was a while ago, so I'm struggling to remember. I couldn't get close enough to get good pictures of it. But yeah, so it's kind of cool that seeing one of these used in real life. And now I'm missing bits, I'm not too worried. We'll be going over this field with proper fertilizer anyway, so yeah. Just getting a base layer on to save us some money on solid fert later on, because I'm not going to be using the solid fertilizer production on here that I use on Greenlands, because it is a little bit cheaty. And I know I say a little bit cheaty quite often, but yeah, it gives you guys something to make fun of, I guess. But where before we'd split this field in 3, I just have not appreciated how big this field is when we're using an 8,500 litre slurry tank. but it was on sale, which is why I brought it. Probably long term we'll look at picking up something bigger, particularly when we've got some more horsepower on the farm. At the moment this is the best solution really, because it means we can have everything working. The Fent is really good size, and the John Deere could maybe run the mulcher, but the Fent feels like a good size tractor to have on the mulcher. Case is a good size tractor to have on the slurry tender, so we need a tractor on the slurry spreader, and that's the John Deere, and that means the slurry spreader needs to be small enough that the John Deere can handle it, and that means we're on an 8,000 litre slurry tank. Just finishing up with the mulching because the worker just kind of missed that little corner. And then I'm going to stick it on course play to start mulching the grass fields, because in the save before we move to this, these had all been mown, so I'm going to mulch them. That will reset their growth and also give us the mulching bonus, so which is what I would have done if we'd carried on version 1.1 of the map. For me, mulching is definitely the new rolling when it comes to precision farming. Right, let's refill again, and we've finally got everything in the right place that it works, and I'm going to leave that there. We have field 8 to do, and I want to do field 12 as well, but I'm not going to move that container. We'll leave that there. It's close enough to those fields that we can get that done. It's actually close enough to the cow pasture as well that we could do that one. I feel that with the cows in the pasture it should be self-fertilizing maybe. I mean, they're going to be dropping all sorts of stuff over that grass. Maybe that should be self-fertilizing. Anyway, that field's done. I'm going to try and do a bit of auto drive and course play to get the digestate on to field 8. So just setting up some little loops to take us between filling up at the container and the field. Basically, if I could use 1 point, I would have. Nice simple course play course, and takes me a little bit of fiddling to get the auto drive route to work. Now, as I was saying in the last video, so I did add in my auto drive route that I had from before. I don't build big auto drive networks. I tend to just piece things together as I need them, and this is a classic example of me doing that. I do some things that you really wouldn't do if you were setting up a proper auto drive network, I think. So we're not quite getting close enough, but I don't want to move that point because that point lets us fill it. So we're going to just create a little spur off, so that we can get to a point where we can fill. We'll call that field 6 load because it's kind of near field 6. We'll link that up to the rest of the course and we'll hit go and see what happens then. Hopefully that will work. It's filling up, so we'll just let it fill up and check that the course. No, it's going off down here. So we need to just make sure we've got a link a bit further along to get us back onto the course that we have here. So we'll just go from here, loop round and join that in. I say this is the sort of stuff that if you're doing a real auto drive network you probably wouldn't do, but this is how I use auto drive. So I like to use it to automate jobs like this, because the mulching is just finished, so I can come and mulch for 12 whilst course play and auto drive work together to spread digestate on that field. This makes it really obvious how, depends if you remember, there is a much bigger headland on here than I had when I ploughed this field in. And that's probably a good thing, because if we want to use course play we don't have to worry too much about it getting stuck. So just keeping an eye on things to make sure that nothing goes wrong with the first refill of the slurry spreader. It's waiting because the case is unloading, and that tank is slightly slow to unload. It was really cheap. I'm guessing it's got quite a weak pumping or something, don't know. But we'll just let that unload, and then we'll get or whoever's driving the John Deere will get that filled up. Here we go. This fills up quite a bit quicker. I'm guessing it's got a decent vacuum pump on it. And hopefully, there we go. That's off to rejoin the course play course, so we can get back to mulching. It's really weird seeing the line texture uncover as we mulch. That's because I limed the field before, and then mulching just seems to be mulching the grass in, not working the lime in. But yeah, this will give us the mulching bonus for the grass, which is not massive, but you know, it all helps. Every little helps. And it just kind of resets things for next year. That's my view. Although this grass patch will probably be ploughed or cultivated in spring to plant some root crops, and that side will be grass, which we're going to do next episode. I'm going to leave the grass this side. I don't think it'll be grown in time to get a cut off of it, but it's not worth turning it in just yet. We'll leave it for the winter. It'll at least act as a cover crop. It might give us a bit of a nitrogen bonus, which will be cool. Yeah, I think that'll be a good size field to put root crops in for next year's harvest. Can't decide between potatoes and sugar beet. If we do potatoes, we're going to have to lease another planter. The other thing that I'm on, though, we could direct drill in sugar beet into here if we leased a direct planter, but I don't know whether you would or not. So again, comment below. Do you think that we would need to plough in the grass first before we drilled the beets or put the potatoes in? Potatoes you definitely would, because you need to ridge and stuff like that. But if we went for beets, do you think we would need to plough that in before we tried to put them in the ground? Field 8 has been spread with digestate. Now on to field 12, and the John Deere is going to struggle a bit with this because it's quite a few hills. We should probably put the Fent on the job. I think I have the Fent running in field 12 on course play, so in the cow pasture. Not field 12 because I'm in field 12, but it's running in the cow pasture on course play. Getting that mulched ready for some fertilizing at some point. Yeah, that worked pretty well. So just refilled, and we're going to climb to the top of the hill first and then work up. The plan was to work my way down, but I forgot that plan. And I was just working out how much nitrogen to put on. We need to get it to about 50, so yeah, adding about 50 kilograms of nitrogen per hectare. And yeah, I had planned to work my way down the field, and then I just turned down and ran a headland. So we're going to have to climb the hill again, which is slightly annoying. But actually one headland almost covers the field, so yeah, there is that. Again, not worried about covering every inch of the field because we'll have to do some fertilizing of some sort. Maybe we won't on this, but you know, it'll be good enough. It will be good enough. But this has got stuck trying to drop some slurry off. Because we are pretty well sorted for digestate, I set it to selling the slurry that we have on the cow pasture, delivering that up to the BGA. So last bit of digestate. Quick thank you to patrons and YouTube channel members. I really appreciate your support. And if you've enjoyed the video, hit the like button, leave me a comment, and if you're not already, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you next time on Calmsden.